Welcome to Mr. Tompkins EdTech and my series of exam question compilation videos on key topics you might still be struggling with. This particular video covers loci and constructions. I've taken related questions from my past paper walkthroughs and given them to you here back to back. These compilation videos will give you a deep dive on topics you are still finding challenging, giving you more of an overview, helping you recognise command words, identify key features and strategies, building your confidence and helping you apply these techniques for future papers. If you find it helpful, please give the video a thumbs up, it will really help me out. Also, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, why not do that now? I'll be making lots of these compilations over the next couple of weeks and you'll get notified of these as soon as I upload them. Right, let's get into it. Question 16. A sketch of triangle ABC is shown. And we can see a triangle here. There's an angle marked at A, which is 37. We've got one side AB, which is 11, and another side AC, which is 8. And it says, in the space below, complete an accurate drawing of triangle ABC. Okay, and if we scroll down, we can see that AB has been drawn for us already. And if your school reprographics department has done a good job, that should already be 11 centimeters long. Just be aware that sometimes when these papers are reproduced in schools, they get stretched or squished a bit, so they might not be accurate. Okay, but this one is exactly 11. Right, so the first thing we need to do is to construct a 37-degree angle at A. So it's time to get the protractor out, lay it along the line AB with the center of the protractor at A. And then a protractor always has two scales. You want to pick the scale that starts from 0. In this case, that's the inner scale. So counting around from 0 up to 37. I'm going to put a little mark at 37 degrees. And once I've done that, I'm going to remove the protractor and get out our ruler instead. I'm going to line up the ruler so the 0 on the ruler is at A and the ruler passes through the mark that I've made. And then I'm going to carefully measure along it to 8 centimeters and draw the line. Okay. Now once that line's been drawn, then the end of that line is going to be the point C. And then I can join C down to B with another straight line. Okay. Job done. Question 5. ABC is a triangle. Part A, construct the locus of points inside the triangle that are equidistant from BA and BC. Show all your construction lines. Okay, so BA this side here, BC this side here. Now the locus of points inside the triangle that are equidistant from B and A, that's going to be the angle bisector between the two of them, isn't it? Okay, so I need to draw an angle bisector of BA and BC. So I'm going to use a compass to do that. Always a good idea to keep a little short pencil in your equipment for these sorts of things. Okay, you want a nice short pencil so that when you're twirling your compass around, it's not constantly bumping into your hands. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put the point at B, that's where the angle is that I want to bisect, and I'm going to draw an arc that cuts both arms, so cuts there and cuts down here. Okay, and then move the compass to the points where I just did the cuts and draw two arcs. Oops. Like that. We should form it, show it forms like a little cross. Okay, and then we're just going to join up B to the center of those two arcs that I made like that, and that is going to be my angle bisector. Okay, if you've got a protractor with you, you might want to just double check that that angle there and that angle there are the same, but I'm presuming that I've done a good job of my constructions. Right, then indicate the point on the locus inside triangle which is 3 centimeters from A. Well, 3 centimeters from A, I need to set my compass to 3 centimeters. Okay, and I reproduced this paper, so I'm not sure it's exactly at the same dimensions as OCR intended. Okay, so if I draw a circle based on that, on my reproduction at least, it's only going to cut in one place. It's going to cut here. Okay, so the point on the locus inside the triangle, which is 3 centimeters from A, is just that point there, isn't it? That's the point I'm looking for. Okay, so that's it. That's the point I'm after. Using ruler and compasses, construct a triangle ABC so that BC is perpendicular to AB, AC is 9 centimeters, and the first line has been drawn from us. Right, so first thing we need to do is construct a right angle at B so we can draw our second perpendicular line BC. Now, in order to construct a 90-degree angle, we need to extend the line a little bit beyond B so that we've got something that we can cut with an arc. So let's just make AB a little bit longer. And then using our compasses, we're going to make 2 marks either side of B that are equidistant from each other. So just making sure we don't change the aperture. Next, we're going to have to do some arcs above, but before we do this, we need to make sure that the gap between the compasses is a little bit wider than it was before. And then put it in one of your marks from before. Draw a short arc above B. Switch to your other mark and draw a second arc so it crosses your first. You can now draw a line from B going up, and this line will be 90 degrees from the line AB. There we go. Now we don't know how long this line is going to be yet. To work out the tip of the triangle, we're going to have to get our ruler out again. This time we're going to change the aperture of the compasses so it's exactly 9 centimeters. Like that. Then put in the tip of the compass in A. Draw a short arc which just cuts my new line. And at the point where it crosses, that will be the point C. Okay, now I've found C, I can simply join A to C with my ruler. Remember to leave your construction marks visible, and you might want to use your ruler and protractor just to double check your 90-degree angle and the length that you drew. Question 5. Using ruler and compasses, show that the region inside the grid that is less than 4 centimeters from A and nearer to B than C. Label the region R, show all your construction lines. Okay, so we're going to have to do some work with our compasses today. So, when you're putting your pencil in your compass, just make sure that the tip of the compass and the tip of the pencil are in the same place. And then tighten it up so it doesn't move. Okay, make sure your arms are reasonably stiff. And try and keep hold of a pencil which is nice and short that you use just for your compass. It needs to be short so that when you twirl it around like that, it doesn't bump into your hands. A full-size pencil is just no good. Okay, so I'm ready to start this construction. I need to mark all the points that are less than 4 centimeters from A. Now, I could use a ruler if I needed to, but I don't think I need to here. I can just use the grid that is marked out on the diagram. They're in centimeter squares. So I'm going to use 4 of those squares to measure the distance. So 4 centimeters from A is that distance there. So if I draw a circle centered on A, then all the points on the circumference of that circle are going to be exactly 4 centimeters from A, so that any point inside this circle is going to be less than 4 centimeters from A. Okay, So this circle is going to be one of the boundaries of the region that I'm trying to find. Okay, job done. Right, now the next one says it needs to be nearer to B than to C. So here's B. So nearer to B is going to be halfway between them, and which is, in other words, is the perpendicular bisector of these 2 points. So make sure your compass is more than half of the distance between the 2 points and draw an arc from one of your points. Then switch over to the other one and draw a second arc. Now that should cut your original arc in 2 places. Oh, I missed that one. Let's just go back and make that one a little bit longer. And that's my second cut-in point. Okay, and those 2 crossing points then you can use to line up your ruler and draw a straight line through those points. Like so. So the points on one side of that line, on the same line as B, are all going to be the points that are closer to B than to C. And on the other side, they're going to be closer to C than to B. So we want above that line then, don't we? And inside the circle. That's the region we're looking for. So we're going to letter that one with an R. Now don't forget to do this bit. They will steal a mark off you if you forget. Okay, R. That's the region. So it's less than 4 centimeters from A and it's closer to B than to C. Okay, we're done. Question 5. ABCD is a quadrilateral and we need to construct a bisector of angle ABC. Now that's A, that's B, that's C. So ABC is this angle here. So in order to do an angle bisector, we need to put the compass in at the point where we want to create the bisector and draw 2 arcs, one crossing each of the lines that that the angle is between. Okay, and it doesn't matter how long the aperture is, it just needs to be the same. Okay, and then what you want to do is move your compass point to those 2 marks that you made and draw a second set of arcs between your 2 lines. And what you'll find is it creates this cross shape here. Okay, just to double check that didn't move. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, so once we've got that little cross, then we just bring out our ruler and draw a line from B through the center of the cross that we made. Okay, so that's my angle bisector of ABC. Okay. So part B says construct the perpendicular bisector of BC and show your construction lines. So here's BC. Again, it doesn't matter how wide we set our aperture, it just needs to be a little bit beyond halfway. That's optimal. And then we're going to draw 2 arcs again, one from C and one from B. And again, these will kind of form 2 points of intersection in between. There and there. Okay, and then our perpendicular bisector is going to be the line that goes through those 2 crosses. Okay. Now finally it says shade the region which is nearer to BC than to AB. So BC is here, AB is here, so we want it to be closer to this line. In other words, it's going to be above this angle bisector in here, isn't it? It's going to be this area in here. Okay. Now it also needs to be closer to B than to C. So it's this area in here to the left of the perpendicular bisector and above the angle bisector. Okay. Now, make sure you leave all these construction marks on. Don't rub those out. The examiners are looking for them. And if they don't see those construction marks, even if you have the lines in the right place, they're not going to give you credit. Question 6. Use a ruler and compasses for this question. A ship is closer to port X than port Y, less than 11 kilometers from Y. The map shows the position of X and Y. On the map, show the region where the ship could be. Label it R. So we're going to have to use our knowledge of loci of various points and along with our compass skills to work out what the answer is. Now, firstly, just a little bit of
kit care, make sure you've got a small sharp pencil. Make sure that the tip of the pencil and the tip of the compass line up. Make sure it's a short pencil so that when you twirl it at the end it doesn't bump into your fingers. And make sure it's not too loose, and if it is, make sure you tighten it up before the exam with a screwdriver. Okay, so we're going to have to form a loci of points for the closer to port X than port Y. Now, the points that are equidistant are going to be the perpendicular bisector of the line XY. So to form a perpendicular bisector, we set our compasses to more than half of the distance between the 2 points, and we draw an arc from X and an arc from Y. And you should notice that these 2 arcs cross at 2 points. So with our ruler, we're going to line up our ruler with those 2 points of intersection and draw on our perpendicular bisector. Now all the points on this line are the same distance from X as they are from Y. So we're looking for the points to the left of that line then, so that they're close to X and Y. Right, now next we need to work out the points which are less than 11 kilometers from Y. Now the scale of this diagram is 1 centimeter represents 2 kilometers. So taking 11 and divide it by 2, I should have a distance of 5.5 centimeters on my diagram. So we need to get our compasses out again. We need to set it to 5.5 centimeters. So we can use the marks on our ruler to make sure the distance between the tip and the pencil is exactly 5.5. And then we can draw a second arc based on Y. Again, every point on this line is going to be 11 kilometers from Y. Oops, let's just do that again. My tip slipped. Okay, so all the points on this line are 11 kilometers from Y. So inside the circle must be less than 11 kilometers from Y. So then the region we want has got to be inside that circle and to the left of our perpendicular bisector. So it's this area here. Don't forget to label it R. It says that specifically in the question, and if you don't remember to do that part, you will lose a mark. Okay, all done.
Question 6. ABCD represents the plan of a field. There is a path across the field that starts at A, is the same distance from B, A and BC. Using ruler and compasses, show the position of the path. Okay, so make sure you keep yourself a ickle pencil that you can use with your compass. Okay, you need a special one really. Don't have like your normal long pencil, it's too long. Okay, the reason for that is when you twirl your compass around, it needs to kind of do a full 360 without bumping into your fingers. Okay, right. What we need to do is to create an angle bisector at B. So putting your compass point at B, drawing an arc that crosses BA and BC at the same distance, so without changing the aperture. And then move the compass point to the mark that you made and draw a mark in the middle. Sorry, can't really see that very well. And then move it to the other side and draw another arc that crosses your other arc that you just drew. And then that gives you a point where you can pass through and draw your bisector. So then just grab a ruler, draw a line from B through the cross that you made, and then out the other side. That's going to be the path. Okay, now don't rub out your construction marks. The construction marks need to be there in order for you to score the marks. So if you rub them out, you'll lose marks. Leave them there. They have to be visible, otherwise you won't score both. All right, let's move on. Question 7. Construct the perpendicular from the point P to the line AB. Show all of your construction lines. Okay, well, the first thing you need is a compass and a nice sharp pencil. Now your pencil should be small, so it doesn't get in the way of your hands when you're twirling your compass around. Okay, so if you've got an old pencil, it's a good idea just to keep it in your kit so that you can do this. You shouldn't bump into your hand as you do a full turn like that. Okay, so construct the perpendicular from the point P to the line AB. So what we want to do is we want to draw a line from here down to here in such a way that it meets a right angle here. Okay, now probably the easiest way of doing that is to set your compass so that it is a bit further than the distance between you and the point and the line like that. Okay, and then I'm going to put the compass tip at P, and I'm going to draw an arc which cuts my line AB twice. So there and there. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the compass and put the tip here at A and draw an arc on the opposite side of the line, and then move my compass point to that second point where it crossed and draw another line. I missed it. I'm going to have to go back to A and do that one again. Go back to here and do that again then. Okay, now you should find that you've got another point down here then. Now that line should be, it should form a perpendicular with the line AB. Okay, so then I'm using a ruler. I'm just going to join up P as if I was going to join it up with that point down here, but actually I'm just going to stop at the line. Okay. So I'm going to aim at that point down there, but stop when I get to the line, so like that. And then that should be at right angles then to the line AB. Okay, now these construction marks here, this arc here and these two arcs, it's really important that you leave those in. This is your method, and if you rub them out and you can't see them anymore, then you're not going to get the marks. Similarly, if you just try and finesse it with a protractor, or just trying to do your best, I mean, it's fairly easy to draw a kind of almost line just using these grids on my ruler, for instance. I could give it a good go, fairly convincing. But the examiners are going to be looking for these construction marks, and if they don't see them, they are going to assume that you didn't do it properly, and they won't give you the marks. So you must leave these construction marks in order to get all the marks. Question 7. The diagram shows triangle ABC. Construct a bisector of angle BAC, then construct the perpendicular bisector of AC, and then shade the region inside triangle ABC that is nearer to AC than to AB, and nearer to A than to C. So we need a straight edge and compass for this, so let's get busy with that then. Okay, first up, make sure your compass is set up correctly. You need to have the pencil tip and the tip of the compass in the same place before you tighten it up. It's a good idea to keep yourself a little stumpy pencil like this one, so that you can swirl your compass all the way around without bumping into your hands. Okay. Then what we need to do is, what we've got to do, we've got to construct a bisector of angle BAC. So this is B, A and C, so that angle BAC is this angle here. We need to cut this in half. Okay, now to do this, you stick the compass tip at the angle, so in A, and we're going to draw an arc that cuts both those two arms of the angle. Okay, then we need to move our compass tip into that place where we cut it, and then into that place where we cut it and draw two extra arcs. Now those two will make a cross, and then we can then just join point A through that cross that we've made. Okay, now it doesn't matter what width you set your compass to, just that you don't move it while you're doing the construction, so you need to try and keep it the same. If you know it's moved, you probably want to stop and try again. Now, that seems to be a pretty good job. You can always check that with a protractor to be sure you've done a good job. All right, next, construct a perpendicular bisector of AC. This is AC, so we want to cut this line in half. Now to do it, we need to set our compass so that it's slightly more than half the distance between the 2 points. Between half and 2/3 of the line is a good distance. Okay. And then we're going to draw two arcs from C and from A, and then hopefully they'll cross. I'm going to struggle a bit because it's going off the bottom from my paper here. So bear with me. Okay, so there's one of the arcs. Now move the point over to A and draw the second arc. Okay, I haven't quite got the arc, the cross at the bottom there. Let me just extend that one a little bit. Okay, there we go. So then those two arcs make 2 points of intersection, which you can then join up with your ruler. Okay, oh, I've got my ruler the wrong way around. You can see it's an awesome Pokemon ruler today. Okay, so there's my second line. So we want to shade the region that is inside triangle ABC that is nearer to AC than to AB. So nearer to AC than to AB is going to be below this angle bisector then, isn't it? And nearer to A than to C is going to be the left-hand side of this perpendicular bisector. So the area that we want is this triangle in here. So it's below the angle bisector and to the left of the perpendicular bisector. All done. Good job. Question 7. The scale diagram below shows towns A, B and C. Line AB represents the road from A to B and line AC represents the road from A to C. A shopping centre is to be built so that it is nearer to the road from A to B than the road from A to C, and then less than 14 kilometres from town C. And then part A says, using construction, shade the region where the shopping centre could be built. Okay, so this is a question on constructions and loci. Now, the two loci that I need to draw, less than 14 kilometres from town C, that is going to be a circle, centre C, radius 14 kilometres. Okay, now in this case I've got 1 centimetre represents 14 kilometres, so that is going to be equivalent to 7 centimetres then on our scale. So I need to draw a circle, radius 7 centimetres based on C, and nearer to the road from A to B than the road from A to C. Okay, so in that case, if I've got this, so it's nearer to AB than it is to AC, really I need to find the points that are equally distanced from those two roads, and then I'm going to be the ones that side of it then, isn't it, which is the angle bisector of this angle. That's what I need to construct. So I need to construct an angle bisector of BAC, and I need to draw a circle radius 7 centered on C. Okay, and then it's going to be, and then I can shade my region. Okay, so let's do that then. Okay, time to reach for the compass. Make sure the compass tip and the pencil are in the same place. Then you want to open your compass out and you're going to draw a series of arcs. First, centering the compass at A, we're going to draw an arc that cuts both arms of our angle that we're trying to bisect. Okay. Then moving the compass point to the first point of intersection on one arm, we're going to draw an arc in between the lines. And again, moving the compass to the other point of intersection, I'm going to draw another arc between the two lines. And where these two arcs crosses is going to be how I'm going to form my angle bisector. So I'm going to draw a straight line then from A through that cross that I've just made. Okay, so the next thing to do is to draw my circle centered at C. So I'm going to set the compass so it is 7 centimeters between the tip of the compass and the pencil. Then I'm going to put the tip of the compass in C and then draw my circle centered on C. Okay. It crossed on the left, it didn't cross on the right, so I just need to make my angle bisector a little bit longer, I think.
Okay, so then I want the points which are closer to AB than they are to AC. So that means it's going to be above the line and inside the circle. So it's going to be this region here. I'm just going to shade it now. Okay, so above the angle bisector, but inside the circle. Okay, that's it. Part B says, explain why the region found in Part A may not be appropriate site for the shopping centre. Now, there are lots of different reasons you can give for this. I'm just going to say that, well, the given lines we assumed were straight, and they may not be. So, assumed roads were straight lines when in fact they might not be. Okay, and there's lots of other assumptions we've made here that we could test or find that weren't actually the case, but it's just one mark. One reason is enough. Let's move on.
Question 7. The scale drawing represents a park ABCD and the scale of 1 centimetre represents 10 metres. A straight path goes across the park from B. The path is always the same distance from the side A and side B. And part A says construct the route followed by the path. Show all the construction lines. Now a path that's always the same distance from two sides, A, B and BC, that's going to be the angle bisector of ABC then, isn't it? So I'm going to have to use a pair of compasses here to make this construction. So when you're using a pair of compasses, make sure that you're using a short pencil so you can twirl it around without bumping into your fingers. Also make sure that the tip of the pencil and the compass, tip of the compass are in the same place. Once you've got that sorted, we're ready to do the construction. So putting the point of the compass at B, we're going to draw an arc that crosses both arms of that angle then, AB and BC. Okay, once we've got that drawn, going to move the tip of the compass to the point on AB where the arc crossed. And we're going to draw a second arc between the arms of the angle. And then over to BC and where the arc crossed, we're going to do that again and draw another arc there. And you'll see that you get like a little cross in between the two lines. Okay, now what we're going to do then is put a ruler and line it up through B and then through the center of that cross we made from the two arcs. And we're going to draw our line here. Now this line is going to be the angle bisector of ABC, and you should see that it cuts that angle exactly in half. So that is going to be my path that I need to draw. Okay, now part B says a bench is to be placed on the path. The bench must be no more than 50 meters from C. Construct the locus of possible positions of the bench. Indicate clearly on the diagram where the bench can be placed. Okay, now we've got another construction to draw here. This time we're going to be drawing a circle centered on C with a radius of 50 meters. Now obviously I can't draw a 50 meter circle, but the scale of this is 1 centimeter representing 10 meters. So taking our ruler and our compass, let's just set the aperture of the compass to exactly 5 centimeters. Okay, from tip to pencil tip, and then we're going to draw a part of a circle centered on C. Okay, now you see that arc crossed the line I drew earlier in 2 places. So let's just mark those a little bit more clearly. Now it says that the bench needs to be less than 50 meters from C. So basically it can be anywhere between these 2 points. So anywhere between these two is acceptable. So just to make it nice and clear, I'm just going to write on here bench between these points. Okay, so it doesn't just have to be at the end points, it can be anywhere between those 2 crosses. Question 9. The diagram shows the scale drawing of a sandpit ABCD. It also shows the arc of all points in the sandpit that are 80 centimeters from the corner A. We're told that the scale of 1 centimeter represents 20 centimeters. A game is played by throwing a ball into the sandpit. Points may be scored when the ball lands in the sandpit. 1 point if the ball lands within the 80 centimeters of corner A, and 1 point if the ball is closer to side AB than to side AD, and 1 point if the ball is closer to corner A than it is to corner B. By completing the construction, find and shade the regions where 2 points can be scored. Show all of your construction lines. Right, now the first construction is already done for us, isn't it? So the one where it has to be within 80 centimeters from corner A, that circle has already been drawn. It's that arc, isn't it, there? Yeah, so you can see this one is 4 centimeters, which is 80, so that has already been done. So I'm going to move on to the second one, which says 1 point if the ball is closer to side AB than AD. Okay, so the construction that we need for the points that are equidistant from 2 lines is the angle bisector of those 2 lines. Okay, so what we're going to have to do is construct the angle bisector. Now normally I would put the compass at A first and do an arc that cuts both, but we've already got this handy arc already drawn, so I'm just going to use those 2 points to mark my cross in the middle to make the angle bisector. Okay, so that makes my job a little bit easier. So sticking on either end, we're drawing a little arc, and then where they cross, that is going to be where my angle bisector is going to go through. Okay, so the line I'm drawing are all the points that are equidistant away from those 2 lines. So clearly if I want it to be closer to AB, then I want it to be below that line there then. Right, next construction. The point of if the ball lies closer to A than to B. So the points that are equidistant from 2 given points A and B are going to be the perpendicular bisector of that line. Okay, so in order to draw a perpendicular bisector, I'm going to set my compass to a little bit over halfway between those 2 points, and I'm going to draw an arc with the compass based at B. Okay, a bit of a semicircle going on there, and then switch over to A, and I'm going to draw another semicircle. We should find that they meet in 2 places. Okay, it's a little bit off screen. Let me just push it up a bit. So you're drawing a line through where those 2 arcs crossed. That's going to be my perpendicular bisector. So all of those points are equidistant from A and B. Okay, so if we want the points that are closer to A, then I want the points to the left of that line. As I said earlier, if I want the points that are closer to the line AB than the points AD, then I want those below the angle bisector. Okay. Now in this case, I then want the ones outside of the circle then, because if it's inside the circle, it'll be worth 3 points. But I want to highlight the ones that are just worth 2 points. So inside the circle would meet all 3 conditions, and then they'd be worth 3 points. Now, is there any other place which is worth 2 points? This one here is, isn't it? Because that's inside the circle and closer to A than to B, so that's worth 2 points. What other regions have we got? This one up here is only worth one point because it's closer to A than B, but doesn't meet any of the other conditions. And the one down there is worth 1 because it's closer to AB than AD, and the one at the top is worth 0 because it doesn't meet any of the conditions. Right, so they're the 2 regions that I want, and I've shaded both, so that's job done. Let's move on.
Use a ruler and a pair of compasses in this question. Construct the perpendicular bisector of AB. Okay, so first things first. With your compasses, make sure you've got a small pencil. It needs to be small enough so that it doesn't bump into your fingers when you turn it around. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to draw nice smooth curves. Okay, so What you need to do is to widen out the compass so it's more than half of the distance across the length that you want to bisect. Then put the steel compass pin in one of your points and draw a arc above and below the line. Then switch sides, put the steel pin part into the other end of your line and draw a second arc so it cuts the first one in two places. Then using your ruler, draw your perpendicular bisector through the 2 points where the arcs crossed, like so. Okay, now you can always use your ruler to measure that distance, make sure it's definitely half, and you can use your protractor to double check that the angle is actually 90.
Question 9a, the scale 1 centimetre represents 25 metres and can be written in the form 1 to k. Find the value of k. So we need to get the same units here, haven't we? So probably easiest to convert the meters first into centimetres. We can do that by times by 100 because there are 100 centimetres in a metre. Okay, so 25 meters is 2,500 centimeters. Okay, now they're both in the same unit, centimeters. I can then write them as a ratio then, can't I? So the ratio is going to be 1 to 2,500 then, isn't it? That's my answer. So what's the value of k? K is going to be 2,500. Part B, the scale drawing represents the harbour. We've got a scale of 1 centimetre represents 25 metres. A boat leaves the harbour from point C and sails on a path that is equidistant from BC and CD. The harbour rules do not allow for boats to sail within 75 metres of point E. Find by construction whether the path of the boat will follow the harbour rules. Show all of your construction lines. Okay, so let's do the path that it leaves by first off. Now it's equidistant from BC and CD. So here's BC and here's CD. Now the path that is equidistant from them both is going to be the angle bisector of this angle here. So we're going to have to cut this angle in half and then that will be the path that we take. Now we can do that construction quite easily with a compass. All we've got to do is set the compass. We need to do it slightly shorter than BC, otherwise I'm not going to get a cut mark on that line. So I'm going to set the compass so it's slightly shorter than that shortest side. I'm going to put the compass point at C and I'm going to draw two arcs, one that cuts CD and one that cuts CB up there. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the compass point to those 2 points where it cut. And ooh, this compass is a bit wobbly. Okay, it shouldn't matter between those, but it shouldn't move between these two arcs. So I'm going to draw an arc there and an arc there like that. Okay, so then I need to leave these marks here and here visible because they're my method, and then I use those to do these two arcs, and so then my perpendicular bisector of this angle is going to go through that point there. Okay, so I'm going to draw that line on. Okay, so my boat's chugging along that line there. Is it going to keep more than 75 meters from the point E? Now I can do that by drawing a circle at E of that radius. Okay, so 75 meters, if I divide by 25, look, that's going to be 3 centimeters, isn't it? So if I set my compass for 3 centimeters, it's not the best ruler to show you, but it's kind of like there. Okay, then I'm going to put my compass at E and I'm going to draw a circle. Okay, now this circle is all the points that are 3 centimeters from E or 75 meters away from that point on the harbour, And you can see that our line, our angle bisector actually crosses through that circle, which means it's going to be closer to E than 75 then, isn't it? Okay, so does it pass through, does it allow the follow the Haber rules? No, it doesn't. So I think we need to state that somewhere. So I'm just going to write too close to E. Question 10. Construct a locus of points that are the same distance from A and B. So for this question, you're going to need your compasses and a ruler. So first off, put your pencil in your compasses. Make sure the tip of the pencil and the tip of the compass are in the same place and tighten them up nicely. It's a good idea to keep a small pencil so you can twirl it around without bumping into your hands. You don't want a big pencil. Okay, so then put the compass tip into one of your 2 points. Make sure the distance between the aperture, or the distance between the pencil and the tip, is more than half the way between your 2 points, like 2/3 to 3/4 is a good idea. Then stick the compass point in one point and draw an arc between your 2 points, and then switch over to the other point and draw a second arc. And what you'll find is those 2 arcs cross at 2 points. So once you've got your 2 arcs and your 2 crossing points, you pick up your ruler, you align it up with your 2 crosses, and you draw your straight line between them. And that will be your perpendicular bisector. Question 10. Use a ruler and compasses in this question. ABCD represents a garden. A tree is to be planted in the garden. The tree will be in the region that is closer to AB than to BC. Label the region R where the tree could be planted. Show all your construction lines. Okay, so first off, with construction questions like this, we're going to use a pair of compasses. Okay, so when you're setting up your pair of compasses, make sure you've got a nice short pencil and that your pencil tip and the tip of the compass are in the same place. Right, now the locus of points that is equidistant from 2 lines A and BC is an angle bisector. So we're going to stick the compass point in B and draw an arc that cuts both AB and BC. Then we're going to move the compass point to one of those points where it crossed, draw an arc in the between, and then move it to the other point where it crossed and draw a second arc in between. Now you should find that these 2 arcs then form a little cross, okay? And then to form our angle bisector, then we're going to join the point B through that point there where the 2 lines crossed, okay? And that's going to be my angle bisector. Now I'm going to draw this all the way through the garden and out the other side. This line is going to cut my garden into 2 regions, okay? Now I want the region that is closer to the line AB. So which half is that then? Okay, well you can see that it's going to be on this side of the line. That's going to be closer to AB because all the points on the line are equidistant. So on that side of the line they're going to be closer to AB, and on the other side they're going to be closer to BC. So let's just draw an R there. Good. Question 14. The scale drawing represents a garden. Water from sprinkler at P reaches up to 20 meters from P. And water from the sprinkler at Q reaches up to 25 meters from Q. We're given a scale. So using a pair of compasses, show the region that water from both sprinklers reaches. So what you need to do is draw circles then based on P and Q that reach that far then, don't we? So using the scale, 1 centimeter represents 5 meters, then 20 meters up here, look, that's going to be 4 centimeters on our scale. So we need to draw a circle of size 4 centimeters centered on P. So sticking the pointy end of the compass in P and setting your compass so the distance between the point and the tip is 4 centimeters. You can even use the grid on the paper to match them up. So, you know, if you stick one end of the compass in P and the other one 4 units away from P as your starting point, and then draw a circle, you should be okay. I'm not going to bother doing this on an actual one. I think you can work it out from what I'm doing here. So drawing a circle. Okay, my computer's been a bit of a pain, so here's one I've created earlier. So you can see that the radius of this circle I've drawn is 4 squares, which represents 20 meters on my scale, doesn't it? So Q then, I'm going to do the same thing, just going to get my computer now to draw one of radius at 5 squares on my computer. So here's another one I prepared earlier, and you can see that this one has a radius of 5 squares representing 25. Okay, so stick the pointy end in the one, set them to the right size, draw the circles, and show the region that water from both sprinklers reach then is going to be the intersect of those two. So I'm just going to shade that bit in there. Okay. And just to make it clear, right, both there on my diagram. Super clear. Well, I hope this video helped you get a better overview of the topic. If it did, give it a thumbs up. You can find more exam question compilations over here. For more past paper walkthroughs, click down here. If you want to visit my Amazon shop with my recommendations for calculators, revision guides and other maths related stuff, click down here. Good luck in your revision and in your exams, and see you again.